All right, good morning. Right, it's February 2nd or February February 1st already. Year is flying by. All right, I'm going to check first and see what the news looks like today. All right, so we've got jobless claims at 8:30, so that already happened. Obviously, these are Eastern times. My local computer is Central time. Some construction and ISM manufacturing. All right, so we got 10 o'clock news, and then that's basically it. All right, so we'll start off with oil. All right, what do we see on oil? We've got. All right, we're in the top of the London range here. It was 117 ticks. That was a pretty big range. We've got the overnight open below us, roughly 65, so that could still play in. Okay, so what we're waiting for, we're going to see kind of how this opening range see how this opening range forms this morning. And we're above the moving averages. We're above the overnight open. We're at the top of the London range. So unless this fails and wants to go back and retest the overnight open or even London low, we're likely to push up from here. If you look the last couple days in oil, I mean, we were kind of up and then we were flat, and now we're kind of trending down. Others, I don't see anything convincing there, giving me really a strong bias one way or the other. So we'll just take the price action as it happens and react accordingly. Watching our 5-minute chart for our inside bars. I apologize, I'm picked up a little bit of a cold yesterday, so my voice probably sounds a little nasally. Apologize for that. All right, so we did pierce this high with a nice test of the gold line. But because we've been sort of sitting on the gold line, I'm going to wait and see. Not overly confident in anything yet. Give it a minute to sort of form itself one way or the other. Let's go over to NQ. All right, big boy over here. Start by removing all my drawings. I always like to start fresh. Okay, we're gonna start at the daily. All right, so we had this big gap. Wow, I mean that's a big gap. We're still down in this fair value gap here on the daily, sort of forming an inside bar. I don't know if this looks kind of undecided. So we have this big drop, so it's possible we just kind of consolidate a little bit. Maybe news 10 o'clock will wake something up. What else do we see? I don't see anything here that gives me a real strong bias one way or the other. 2 hour or 4 hour, 4 hour chart. All right. We're gonna go here. Yeah, we're inside a 4 hour fair value gap from the 19th. We're in this downtrend though, so we'll see how this holds. I mean, we did kind of come up and close this gap a little bit here. Look at this gap. There, right? We did come up and test it yesterday, and it got shoved right back down. So don't know. Wait and see there. Let's go down to the 1 hour. Oh, wait a minute. So this 4 hour candle may end up being kind of something to watch out for. I'm gonna put me a line up here. These are potential liquidity levels. We have these nice equal lows right here. It's possible we break down here, test this, and then decide what to do. Go into the 1 hour. I don't really like this when you kind of get mixed signals based on the time frames. So really like to see this fail on the hourly if we're going to go lower. Otherwise, we're creating lower highs or higher lows rather on this on the 1 hour. I'm gonna refine this a little bit down to here. This one up to here. Not that that 1 or 2 points will make a big difference, but all right, and to the 15, which is really the most important one for us. I'm going to delete this for now. So this is our 1 hour fair value gap. I'm going to change the color so I know it's a higher time frame. Level. All right, the 1 hour is not, or the 15-minute rather. We're holding here. And then we've got internal liquidity here. And here. Really, we've got kind of these levels here. So we'll keep an eye on. All right, so that's our 15-minute chart. So really, I don't have much of a bias, honestly. I would be leaning. I'm leaning bearish, but it it looks like it's kind of it could be consolidating today, so we've got to be careful with that, in my opinion. In my opinion. All right. Then to our 1 minute chart. I'm going to take this line off. All right. So this is coming down. This low here did come below the wick of this candle body here, or this candle wick here. And we seem to be holding this here, so we'll see what happens. I'm a little cautious though. I'm gonna wait. You have lower highs coming down. That was a market structure shift there. Looks like we may be coming down in the short term. We got 15 minutes to open. We'll see how that plays out. And all right, let's go back to oil. Oil. So oil is wrapping the 21 to the downside. So it may want to come down to the overnight open. If I had to guess, that would be my guess. But it's not real convincing yet. Oh goodness. It's just slow. Nothing going on right off the bat here. We have our opening range set, I think, unless something major happens in the next 2 minutes. We're in kind of a bad spot though, because price is kind of sandwiched between these lines. We really need it to sort of break out. We only want to go long above that red line. We only want to go short below it, and we'd prefer to have that gold line on the right side. So to go short, we prefer to have the gold line below the red line. So right now the averages are telling me long. The price action's showing weakness though. So not a lot of confidence there. In about 10 minutes we'll go over to NQ before to watch the open. Because this candle closed below the red line, I'm really hesitant to get in anything long right here. Wait and see. This could set up pretty nicely. So my thesis here would be that if price wants to come down, it's going to kind of consolidate here for a second. We're going to see a cross of our moving averages. We're going to see price come down, have a false breakout of the opening range, come back, retest, and then before it drops to the, at least to the overnight open. That would be ideal. Um, or not. Maybe it just wants to go up. No inside bars yet on the 5-minute. All right, there we go. All right, now come down, break through the opening range, but don't go too far. And then come back up for me. I mean, oil hasn't been tremendously cooperative. I mean, yesterday the really good trade totally, completely disregarded the moving averages. So they don't always, they're not always set in stone, but over time, I think, if you use them as a guide, you're probably better off. At least that's been my experience. All right, so there's a false breakout of the opening range. See if it'll give us. Really love to see that cross, but if it does, see the moving averages cross. If they don't, though, I'm not gonna. That won't be a deal breaker. All right, so what's our distance here? 36. There you go. Pull on up there. Bring that moving average down. So we're testing that 9 EMA, that little thin gold line. enough? Is that enough?
Order filled.
I take it. It's late. I should have been on the break of this candle. So we'll see. Much bigger stop loss than I like. Where are we at here? 17. Yeah, if this doesn't just drop, I'm probably I may chicken out, get out for break even. But I like that we had a breakout, a pullback, and then a drop. It's a good sign. It might take its time. Looking at on the 5 minute. Oh, there we go. Wants to play with me. Silly oil. There we go. Come on, just drop for me. Do me a favor. Start the day off right. Still don't like that our moving averages haven't crossed. That means it could still come back up for another retest before it falls. I got in a little bit late. I should have been in on the break of this candle here. Candle that tested the EMA. But we're in it now. We're targeting the overnight open. And actually, I think it's likely it'll fall through the overnight open if it gets there. Just because London low is down here. And it may come back down here, but I'll take the overnight open if it gives it to me. That would be 34. 34. Got this going on right here, so and we got 7 minutes till open on the NQ side. Okay, we're gonna move to break even because we're not gonna lose money on this trade. I always put my buy stops or sell stops for that matter, like 2 ticks, because inevitably, if it rips up here, it's gonna come back fast. I'm gonna get slippage and end up taking a loss. So that's what I do. All right, our moving averages have crossed. But I'm just going to wait and see. I'm going to practice being patient today. Can I do that? Can I just be patient? Yeah, nice red line rejection in NQ too. It's taking a minute, but it's moving nicely. Oh, just get down there so I can go back to NQ. We got the open in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. The trail candles. We're going to trail candles here. There we go. All right, now this is, oh, perfect. Okay, now we broke past here. Come on, come on. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. We're going to be chickens. Because this is a low and we're reacting pretty strongly to it, I think
Target filled.
I'm just going to take it here. It may come lower, but I mean, that was a pretty solid drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. I guess we'll wait and see if patience would have paid, if I could have got a little bit more out of that. We're happy with that trade. 1 for 1 for the day so far. What was that? 240 bucks. Woohoo! And a single contract. Got in late. The lower probability trade in my opinion because my moving averages were not lined up the way that I would have liked to have seen them. But I got lucky, and it went down to that London low line. Didn't quite get the overnight open. So we could be just looking at a pullback before it tries again. But that's it. So that's my oil trade. Opening range break after a fail. Very high probability in my experience. Oops. All right, let's go back to NQ, shall we? Hey, Rushdie. Good morning. Whoa. Hold on, let's go back to oil. There's oil. See how these crossed and then it rocketed back up to check them out again. That's what I was worried was going to happen, because usually if there's a cross, it wants to come back up. So if I hadn't already had a win, this would actually be probably a pretty decent entry right here, because I think there's the potential we pull lower and test this kind of the bottom half of the London range. Don't know for sure though, but that would be my guess. All right, let's go to NQ. All right, I'll show you this red line trade. Let's throw a line on there real fast. Yeah, so you see, price was above, came down, came back up, tested, and then boom, dropped. That would have been a nice trade there too. Normally the red line isn't one that I look at in the morning. It's more of an afternoon trade usually, but let's see. When price is slower like this and just kind of meandering sideways, sometimes, usually it has higher probability. All right, so just a reminder, this gap here, I think, is a 1 hour fair value gap we recognized. We're looking really for a close below that in order to be bearish on the day. So we'll see what happens. I'm not going to do anything until after the open. So this is interesting. So we're coming down to this internal liquidity before the open. So which way are we going to go at open? Any guesses? Up or down? Up or down? I'm going to say I think we're going to come down initially because we got to take this low, and then it'll be kind of interesting to see where it goes after that. Let's take my red line off. Boom. All right. All right, here's the open. See if we take that liquidity. See how we're sitting right there. If we don't take this right now, this is gonna be a level that's gonna be interesting. Oh wait, we did take it. Sorry, my bad. Why is my line all the way over here? I think this was drawn off the 15-minute chart. All right, so we took it barely. Gotta wait and see how this plays out. Definitely not gonna jump into anything. There's no real confirmed bias. London levels. Oh, this is like the midpoint of the London range. That's interesting. So we shall see. This could be just an accumulation day, consolidation day. Well, if you peek over at oil ripped up, so my thesis was wrong. Decided to go the other direction. That's okay. It's okay because oil actually never over here. So the reason this is good here in oil is because if you're taking a break or looking for this to reject the gold line, red line, right? So we crossed, we came down, we came up, we retested. Your entry would be a break below one of these candles, and we never broke below, so you never would have been tricked into this. So that's good. But you see how oil, it comes from one side of the range to the other side, failed breakout, so it's going to go right back to the other side. Then we shall see. But anyway, I just want to point that out. Okay, back to NQ. Huh. It doesn't know what it wants to do. No idea. Yeah, Rusty. Supply and demand. I don't really trade supply and demand, so I'm not gonna pretend like I know what I'm talking about there. Do you trade? What are you trading, or what are you wanting to trade? Um, Commodities like oil and gold, or equities like ES and NQ? I like that name, Rusty. I don't know if that's how you intend it to be pronounced, but I think that's kind of cool. Gold. Okay. Okay. Yeah, gold is tricky. What what I would recommend, there's a guy, Trader Rob, if you're familiar with him, or if you're not, check him out. Just look on YouTube for Trader Rob. He trades gold and oil, and he uses an inside bar break strategy that seems to work pretty well for him. The other strategy I like on commodities are the kind of the gold line, red line strategy that Bob Anderson teaches. Gold is one you, from what I've seen, and I don't trade it much because I end up getting whipped out. I think you have to have more patience in gold because it can really kind of chop around a lot before it goes the direction you're looking for it to go. So it takes a little patience most of the time. But I know a lot of people are really successful at it. So certainly possible. All right, NQ is pushing up. What do we got? So we have an inverted fair value gap right here. So this gap that was created on the way down between this candle's low and this candle's high was inverted. The problem is it pushed way past it. So the first internal liquidity level would have been the wick of this candle here. Blew past that. So this is low probability, I think. Is the 5-minute chart telling us anything? Not really. 15-minute chart. Too early to tell. So we'll just wait and see. All right, where is? Yeah, the gold line strategy I think works pretty well. I was actually trying to see if I can pull up gold on the chart. We can just take a look, but I don't think. Where are you at? GC. So this data right now, I'm trading on a Top Step data feed through Rhythmic, and it's like, look at this. That's what the gold chart is showing me. It's like there's nothing there, so I don't know. Don't know why, but it doesn't like me. I wonder if micros. Yeah, that's really bizarre. Oh, well, sorry. The chart. If the chart would give me some data, we could look at it, but it's not going to cooperate. My number one piece of advice for new traders is to pick one instrument and just stick with it. Everything has a personality, and part of any strategy is learning the personality of your instrument. And if you're trying to jump around, especially when you're new, it can be pretty difficult to adjust when you're looking at, if you're moving from gold to oil to ES to YM. It's hard to learn and develop, I think, the habits and skills that you need. Once you have one instrument kind of dialed into where you're comfortable with its movement, you know your strategy works with it, you've tested it out, you've proved it, you're confident in it, then you can move to instrument number two. Because really this strategy I'm using in NQ, you could use it just as well in ES. And a lot of people do, but for me, NQ moves a lot more than ES does. And so if I trade ES, I get used to the slow moves, and then when I move back over to NQ and it moves fast, it's like you get panicked out of your position. Or if I go from NQ and it's moving to ES, I get really impatient and can't handle it. So, so that's why I do NQ. And then oil, I've just spent a ton of time with oil, and so that's one I'm just comfortable and familiar with. And I take very specific trades in oil. So like what I did this morning, took the trade and I'll be done with oil for the rest of the day. I won't even pay too much attention to it. So that's my thoughts on that topic. Again, this is coming from, I'm no expert, so take that advice with a grain of salt. Do your own research, etc., etc. One thing I think everybody would agree on, though, is you need lots of screen time. There's no substitute for just watching price action. And right now, price action is doing nothing. We do have 10 o'clock news, so we may not see anything happen until after 10 o'clock Eastern. Pulling back out of this hourly fair value gap, though. So I can't really tell. I can make an argument for it going lower. I can make an argument for it going higher, which means I clearly don't know what it's going to do. All right, let's see where we're at. So just for reference, for anybody who might be watching, these red dotted lines, these are my kind of liquidity levels that I have marked out. This gold dotted line is the overnight open. It's where price opened yesterday evening. And then this kind of salmon colored box here is an hourly fair value gap that I'm kind of watching. So just consolidating right now. Nothing too particularly exciting. It's about the time I go over check out some other streamers, see what they're doing.
going from survival mode my whole life to having enough money to like take my kids on vacation. I had
what this like London manipulation leg goes to on the fib level for possible targets. Oh yeah, it kind of like hit the target already, so
Oh goodness. Maybe
tough,
there'll be a silver bullet
tough,
setup.
you know, tough. And like the other thing I'm seeing
After
is
10 o'clock.
this like there is a Sibby here, right? Thing I don't really like about this Sibby is that it's not like aligned with a low. So like you kind of can have both sides here. We didn't really fill in this all the way, but like if this filled this all the way, you could technically say that's an intermediate term high. But like, you know, these highs
So over here on
kind
the
of
15, we've got a 15-minute fair
smooth,
value gap that's been
right?
pretty respected. So
I would rather
this is how I say, I mean,
by the jagged areas, the
bizarre.
fast areas,
I mean,
right?
on the 15-minute, I can see it coming
some
lower.
slow
If we
movement
respect
here, so
this and
slow
fell.
grinds up.
On the 1 minute,
Fade
though,
of
we
its
seem
slow
to be
grind. It's likely not going to work out
testing
very
out
well,
the bottom
you know?
here to potentially
Anyway.
move a little bit higher. So
Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens at 10.
So who knows?
So far it is working its way up. But like I said, I don't think it's going to be smooth up, right?
I'm gonna
Because there's
delete
just
this.
a few
because
PD arrays in the way.
This is
right? It's not
really
just
this,
like
I guess this fair value gap should be.
oh, equal highs
because
and everything's
we
there,
just had
and
this.
also the
These two
the day of
candles
the
are really
week.
consecutive pushes down, creating this gap.
So you'd have to be
So that's a pretty big
or just don't trade it or whatever.
gap, and so far we're respecting
Do
the
do.
middle
Let's
of that.
check out the chat.
CE of that.
What's going on,
value.
chat?
So
I wanted to
in the
ask,
middle.
did you guys trade
We
FOMC
really do.
yesterday?
I really
That's
need to
right.
break out below or high so that I can do something.
On the poll.
Otherwise, we're just waiting. So hopefully, 10 o'clock news gives us the
Like ideally, what I want to see
enthusiasm we need
is
to
like
go somewhere.
10 a.m. Take out the 9:30 low into this again, and create an actual like fair value gap on the 1 minute to buy into. In a perfect world, right? I'm always like saying what the I do like to think about like what would be my in the perfect world type of thing that would happen, because then I would recognize what's an A+ setup, right?
See, this is dangerous
Anyway,
territory because
how much happened since open? I mean, quite a bit, but you know, bounce off this order block.
dangerous territory because it's slow.
This is a propulsion block, right? On the 15.
So sit on your hands. Don't do anything. Don't do anything stupid. That's what I like. What I tend to do sometimes is try and guess the move early, which usually usually does
that's
not
maybe
work.
like some people ask me like, do I trade the open? That is probably one of the very few scenarios where I probably would if it wasn't like the day before NFP. When there's like a clean 15-minute structure and you know the drawn liquidity and order flow. So that's another reason why I'm not really in it, because it is kind of going against yesterday's large move down, right? However,
that's funny.
like I said, we never like inverted that.
Yeah, I do have tiny
that 4-hour fair value gap. We bounced on a 4-hour order block.
That's hilarious.
15-minute structure shift.
There we go. I'll mute her. Like to see what other people are doing. That's funny. I hope I got a phone call just a second. we're back. 12 minutes to news. Just in a holding pattern. All right, here's our break lower. What does our hourly show? Yeah, I think if this closes below, there's a potential for us to drop lower and take out some liquidity lower. See what news decides to do with us. Ah, 9 more minutes. This is like watching paint dry. I think I'm finally getting the drop in oil I was looking for. Yes, this is interesting. So oil, we tested this low, right? Took that liquidity and then rocketed back up to the other side of the opening range. Took that liquidity, hung out for a second, and now we're coming back down. So if I was to hazard a guess, I'm still of the opinion that we're going to come back down to the overnight open. I just think we will. But I'm not putting my money on it, so we're just going to watch it play out. Give it about 5 minutes and then we'll go back to in queue. Hmm. This would have been a failed inside bar break over here on the 5 minute. Would have taken it long and been stopped out. So strategies like an inside bar break, you have to be very mechanical about them. You've got to take all of them. You've got to take your wins with your losses. And I have a hard time with that. When price action is telling me one thing, but the inside bar is telling me another thing, I default to price action. So I don't like those strategies as much, but I will look at it as kind of, another confluence to support my trade thesis. I apologize again for my voice. I'm picked up a little bit of a cold, so if I sound a little congested, I'm sorry. Yeah, so as this drops down, we're in the same kind of a scenario where we were over here, where we're getting across. So is it going to come back up, or is it just going to drop like it did over here? Don't know. 6 minutes till news. And if news doesn't do something, I'll probably shut it down and maybe wait till this afternoon. Because the longer I sit here doing nothing, the more likely I am to do something dumb. It's probably just me, though. I'm sure everybody else out there is extremely disciplined and does everything very methodically and mechanically. All right. Got a lot of room. All right. Let's back to NQ. All right, are we finally failing? Are we finally failing? Looks like maybe we are. I would love a rocket lower with a nice inversion. That would make me happy. Come on, NQ, make me happy. Oh, it wants to run it before the news. That's interesting. Uh, 5 minute. 15-minute strong push. minute. Let's see what we got. We got a small gap there. We got a little gap here. All right, there's our news coming through. Countdown. What are we at? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. News. There it goes. Oh, definitely. All right. Well, take out that liquidity. What's next? Does it want the overnight open or not? Do you want it or not? Big guy. All right, there's our overnight open. We're going to slap this liquidity here, which is also our London low, by the way. That's a big candle, though. We're not, this isn't 30-point candle. It's not the kind of range I like to play in, so we're going to wait. Look at this gap on the 15-minute. We ended here, and it gapped down. I mean, that was like a big gap from 300.75 to 303, like almost a 3-point gap down. If I was feeling risky, I'd go short right here. You know what? I'm gonna go to my sim account. I'm gonna go short right
Order filled.
We'll do sim because, well, I don't really trust this, but I'm looking for this to hold and push down to this liquidity lower. This is why I didn't do this in a real account, because I would be sweating bullets right now. 95. This is good.
Order filled.
Get in another one. Come on. Is it gonna work? Is it gonna work? Sim trade, practice trade, low probability trade. I might stop above this candle here. Come on. What are we going into here? It's gonna be practice holding a bad trade. Let's see. Yeah, there's our stop. Nope. Really? Okay. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why we don't take impulsive trades.
Stop filled.
What would that have cut? Because I got in 2 contracts on that too. Woof, $600. Yeah, glad I didn't do that in real life. Back to my Tap Step account. All right, seems like we want to go back up. What does the 3 minute look like? I need a gap. I need a fair value gap. No fair value gaps. Where's my fair value gap? Where are you? You are nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen. 30-second, perhaps. This one here. All right, so 30-second, we had a gap here. But man, that was messy. Push down, whipping back and forth. You would have had to, so if you took this inversion, you would have had to get in right here with a stop like way down here. That would have been crazy. 28. Now, if you were confident in it, might have been an opportunity to wait for it to pull back and then get in at the bottom of the range, which would have been nice. We're targeting liquidity up here, so 37-point target, so that's good. So that was probably the trade. It was not great though. All right. Wonder if there were any risky traders out there who bought at the overnight open. Just had a buy order sitting there. Boom. That would have been a good trade for anybody who did. Risky, but it would have paid off. All right, NQ, give me something. Give me something. All right, we have a sweep of liquidity with a breakaway gap. We don't have a change in structure, I don't think, though. Well, maybe. Is this a change in structure, considering we got lower highs and then a higher high? Could be. Coming off of the hourly fair value gap. Didn't pull into here, though. Didn't pull into my 1 minute fair value gap. I have a hard time with these scenarios because everything in me is telling me it's gonna probably just go higher today. But that's probably the only thing that's making me think that is the fact that we trickled down here, hit this, and then pushed off. Right? I don't think that's enough of a reason to just go along. We'll wait and see, though. I mean, I think it's going to. Because we swept this low, and then, boom, we pushed down here. How does this look on the 15? Yeah. All right. We're definitely feeling more bullish right now. I mean, we're wicking down, but we're not. Every time we come down here, it's getting pop back up, right? This gap here was closed by this wick. It's hard to see. There we go. So this gap on the 15-minute was closed by these wicks. In fact, we came all the way down here. Yeah, so I don't think we're coming back down. Okay. All right, my eyes are getting tired. Some blue light glasses. All right. Man, we're just shooting up here. Yep, and there it is. We took that level. Back up to London highs. All right, so we did what I thought we would do. Okay, we came down to test the lower half of London, tapping the overnight open, pushing back up. Unfortunately, I just couldn't find an entry on the way back up. There was an entry on the 32nd, but I missed it. So is what it is. Boy, oil is just chopping back and forth. Crazy. Does not want to leave the opening range for very long. Oof. Okay. Come on. Come on now. So the good news is if we are more consolidating, then that means we could turn around. But I just don't think so. The fact that we ripped off that 1 hour fair value gap, the fact that we closed a 15-minute fair value gap and pushed higher. All those tell me that we should be looking to go long. All right, so where's my Look at 30 seconds, see if we see anything. I don't know. I just feel like it could go either way. In the short term, anyway. I mean, if we get a close below here on the 32nd, this would be an entry. This would be an inversion. 9 points of risk. Yeah, we're not closing below, are we? And if we did close below, where's it going to go? It's probably, I don't know. See, the thing I don't like is you've got all these gaps down here too. So could just as easily come down here, retest this area, and then go higher. So I don't like that. Let's go back to the 1 minute. Who trades a 1 second chart? That's insane. All right. All right, let's come back down into this. Sorry, folks, I got the sniffles. What can I say? All right. I don't know. It's a non-farm payroll week, NFP week. So we'll probably consolidate until we do something tomorrow. I would really like. I mean, if we. I mean, taking anything up here is just going to be risky. We have a strong upward trend. Actually, you know what? Let me look at my other chart. Where is it? Ooh. How far away am I? 5 points. Ooh. Lose 5 points?
Order filled.
Yeah. Alright, we're gonna. This is really small scalpy trade. And I'll take a quick loss if it doesn't go my direction. Yeah, this is. Should have taken into the break of this candle here. This is a trade off the 1 minute gold line. Let's add it real fast. The 1 minute gold line is a 9 EMA. So we pushed up, smooth pullback, tested it. Should have been in right here. Yeah, I'm not liking this. These are momentum plays. If it doesn't just go where you want it to go, it's probably not going to work. So I am going to bail on this, actually.
Target filled.
Yeah, that was a bad trade. Bad trade. Naughty, naughty. Alright, we're still break even for the day. I guess that could be worse. Data series. Do not plot. Alright, what are we waiting for? If this ends up coming back up, I'm going to be kind of annoyed. I got on this off of the test of the EMA, just didn't follow through, pulled back. I got in late, so I got stopped out for more of a loss than I should have. But it still might hold. We'll see. Yeah, we'd really like it to come down further for a nice entry here, but oh, this is boredom. Drawing lines for no reason, just to draw lines. Maybe we're holding this gap so far, but I mean, kind of the optimal order entry to go long would be way down here. But if we can get down to the 50% level, touch down in here, that'd be nice. I just don't know if it's going to happen. Oh, there's a fail. Whoa, big fail. All right. All right, I don't like this fair value gap for an inversion just because there's another pretty decent sized gap below it. If we were to have taken this, our target would have been down here, 20 points. Let's see what happens. Still looking for a long though. Really. Sheesh. Slept London highs, right back down. Unbelievable. All right, we did touch the 50, but all right. So what do? We swept liquidity, then we came back down hard. What bounce? Dropped. Now we're pushing off that midline of the range. Still in premium. Here's a gap on the 5-minute. With 2 minutes left to go. $15-minute. Boy, we're just sideways. How big are our candles? Yeah, what, 10-point candles to 11-point candles? This is a potential entry short off of our gold line, red lines. Do we want to try that? Man, I'm not really confident in anything today. Pushing back up. we have this very, very small gap here. We swept this internal level, but we didn't get down here. Boy, it just does not want to give us an entry, does it? See, this low didn't sweep anything. It didn't take out any low, so it's no bueno. We got this guy over here. It's a 30-second gap. Yeah, I don't know. I can make an argument to go short, and I can make an argument to go long, so I mean, the fact that we wicked down below this fair value gap on the 5-minute, that's pretty strong indication that we want to go higher. But with the way the market's been, I don't trust much. See, this is going to close above this fair value gap, but it's going to be so far up here. There's just not going to be any opportunity left. We'd be risking like 2 times, 3 times risk for 1 reward. That's not. Risk 35 to get 10, maybe. Yeah. Oh, come on. We're just failing to make new highs. We're failing. All right, what do we have here? We got one small gap on our way up that we created right here. And then a nicer size gap right here. And there we go. We took the high. All right. Oops. My earbuds out. All right, so it did come back to the 50% and then push back up. So that's would like to have had it pull back a little bit further, but it just didn't. So whatever. All right, so where are we at? We took that one already. Now we're taking that one. We're taking that one. All right, now we're up. Okay, so if we had 90 ticks or 90 points, 90 points. All right, so if we get a pullback to Let's see. I mean, I like the fact that there's a gap, fair value gap here with the London high going through it. If we invert that, we could see some lower action, but I kind of don't think we're going to. Strong upward momentum, at least in the short term. Come on, NQ. Give me an opportunity here. All right, hesitating at the top of the range. New daily highs. Time is at 9:30 Central, so 10:30 Eastern. It's got 20 more minutes till the macro. So we could continue to run up from, we could get another leg up because we pushed up, pulled back, pushed up. Now we're sitting. Oh, goodness. Trying to make sense out of this is kind of a pain. Kind of a pain. All right. Checking out this fair value gap here. Problem is we've got more openings below too, so don't feel like they're. But we do have the London high right here, so that's one thing we've got going for us on this gap. I mean, this is kind of starting to look like this right here, is starting to look like this over here, right? The thing is, we didn't push as high this time, so we don't have as far down to go as we did here before we hit kind of the support. But if we do invert this, I may potentially take a short. So we'll wait and see. All right, are we going to hold this or are we going to break this? This is some boring price action. I'm going to give it till 10 o'clock my time. Looking for something to happen potentially at, what, 9:50? We'll see. Really hard time with this because I see, overall, like we're kind of, in my opinion, we're more bullish on the 15-minute and the hourly. But then we get to the 1 minute and it's less clear. But we're holding this level pretty tight. So it's looking less and less like we get an inversion. Hmm. I wonder what most other ICT traders would do. Would they be buying here every time it comes back down in here? Boom, 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 boom. We're definitely still in premium, so I don't think so. Golly. All right, if we inverted here, stop loss would have to be up here. 20-point stop loss. $400 to make what? See, we'd be hoping for it to come down to here, although I don't know. For 40, so it'd be kind of a 2-to-1 in low probability conditions. Man, we're just holding it. You don't want to drop below. And we are holding that line. Come on. almost tempted just to jump into it in case it just rockets down. These bodies are respecting it. I don't know. Definitely not high probability anything right here. 10 more minutes till the macro starts. No, there it goes. Yep, see?
Order filled.
I take this inversion. This could be an expensive trade. Put my stop loss up here. Target these lows down here. Even though, gosh, I don't know. This is one of those where I'm very much not confident. See how it reacts here. Hit the 50. All right. Breakthrough. Come on, breakthrough. Breakthrough. Close. Need to see a breakthrough. Come on. Push down lower. Push down lower. Let's go. All right, we are moving to break even.
Target filled.
All right, I'm gonna jump out of that just because I'm not confident we're coming down here. We've been so rangy. So that was 265 on that trade. That's okay. That was actually what, I mean, that's what I was waiting for. Not great because it didn't have a real clear target. And it may still come down here. We'll kind of wait and see what goes on. It might just be a slow, low, a day that doesn't increase my balance much, but as long as it's not decreasing my balance. So just to recap for the day, we had one oil trade, which was perfect. We got into it a little late, but it did exactly what we anticipated it doing. It was failed. It was a break out of the opening range after a failed break and a return to a level. I took a loss in NQ because I took a loss here because I was taking a trade off of this 9 EMA, and I got in really late, and then it just ripped back, so I just jumped out. So that offset my gold trade. That was sad. And then this, really this scalpy trade here for what, about 10 points or something, 13 points. Took a break, an inversion of this fair value gap after we'd created lower lows and showed, definite resistance here. It hung out for a while and then dropped. The target for this trade really would have been down here, but because we're overall uptrending, I wasn't terribly excited about, the likelihood of staying in it. It may get down there, but because we didn't, well, I guess I got out before we closed below this. If we had closed below this fair value gap here, then I would have maybe been more confident staying in. But it didn't look like it was going to, so I just jumped out. Can't complain about that. Let's see. The other thing that I was noticing is if we draw a fib on this, right? We pushed up, we came back down exactly to the 50% level before we moved higher. You do the same thing here. We came back, we're holding that 50% level. So I didn't want to wait and see if it was going to break or not. So that was another reason I jumped out of that one. Let's see. Do we want to stick around till the 950? I don't know. I really like this price action to come lower here. Dude, I really want to get into this. We'll see. If we break this and hold below, I may try again. I don't know. So I need to risk about 10 points. Well, it doesn't look like it's going to, at least not yet. Oh, that's interesting. Looks like Tanya's short. Kind of gutsy in my opinion. She was short from basically where I got out. It's interesting. So you don't really have a sweep here. I don't wonder what her logic was for that. Oh, she's looking at this fair value gap here. She's hoping this holds. Which I guess when you turn it around like that, yeah, that, I can see that. I just don't know. Like I say, I don't like the fact that we're sitting on the 50% of this range right now. We're just sitting on that level, so we're hoping that that breaks. And it may. But it's not yet. Although if it does, I'll probably get in. See, it doesn't want to. There we go.
Order filled.
That was horrible. That was very no good. That was very no good. Woof. Woof. Slow on the trigger. It's going to cost me money. You know what? We're going to wait and see. Although if this pushes down past my entry, I'm going to move my stop to break even pretty quick. Let's see. I do not like that reaction there. Came back below here. That's right where I got it. It's horrible. Horrible. If I was more confident in this, I would get in another contract, but I'm not. Not at all. All right. There we go. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh,
Target filled.
This is how I treat trades where I get in a really bad spot. I don't like holding them. If it comes back to get me out, I feel like that's a gift, and I'm going to take it, even though I don't know, maybe it comes down. Maybe it comes down. Under this scenario, the entry would have been to buy, or to sell rather, here. Then it would have been a little uncomfortable for a few minutes, and then you could have dropped. So, man, look at it go! Look at it go! See, this is the macro time, so expect it to run a little bit. Back down to that hourly fair value gap. So we didn't quite get to the bottom of the range. Not yet. Okay, well, that's it. I've taken two kind of impulsive trades. One that worked, one that didn't. So that's probably a sign I should leave. The two good trades I took worked out great. Followed the rules. Got in when I was supposed to. I feel like I managed the trade pretty well. Although this one I could have, I mean, if you would have, I could have moved to break even and just sat and waited, and it would have come down to here. Could have been a 40-point trade. So still need to work on that patience. It looks like we may still be coming down, but I better turn it off before I do something stupid. Tomorrow's payroll, so expect to see less boring price action tomorrow, hopefully. Anyway, trade safe, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.